talking about the errors that were made and trying to explain what has been going on the last few days as candidates find mistakes in their ballot statements. In the case of C-22, the school bond measure for San Luis Coastal, there is a pretty major typo on the ballot. Attorney Stu Jenkins is explaining what possible remedies are, what possible problems might have led to this, why it all matters. If you want to join us, please do. 805-543-8830 or 800-549-5832. We will read your text messages. We welcome your phone calls. 805-543-8830 or 800-549-5832. My fear, Stu, as we continue the conversation, is that this is going to fuel the fire of some who were already skeptical of the voting process and the voting procedure, and they're going to go, aha, this is exactly what I was talking about.
That's been my fear all along, and the reality is the environment that we're in requires more attention to make sure that errors aren't in the ballot statements and errors aren't in the ballots themselves. Let alone the counting of the ballots. And you know, that idea about bringing people into proof, I get that from having published things, but I also get it from my estate planning practice. I always bring my clients in to proof the documents with them and make sure things are not only correct, but the way they want them. And I think if the clerk recorder had brought in the candidates and brought in the proponents for the ballot measures to the proofing process, that would have actually not only caught these errors, but it would have given more confidence to people that things were right.
On the Stolberg text line, I agree that the voter's guide should be approved by each candidate before they are sent out. It seems like a no-brainer. What would it take to make it happen?
Time and attention, and those are things that the clerk needs to simply focus into the process. People. Opportunities.
Jeff is in San Luis on KVEC. Hi, Jeff.
Hi, how are you?
Hi, Jeff.
My question, Stu, is, now I was told by Teresa Purrington, the city clerk, when I asked about this, she kind of passed the buck to the county and said that they never sent her a receipt of the proof and that they were supposed to have sent me one too. Is this true?
I don't know the answer to that. I'd have to look up a few details before I answer that, but I'll tell you what.
I'm sorry, you should explain that Jeff has a case as well, but this involves the city.
Jeff does have a case because the city, at least according to the press reports I've read, took his ballot statement and retyped it, and apparently there were errors made in the retyping before it was sent over to the clerk recorder's office. I don't know whether that's a factual report or not, but it does seem to me to be a potential problem. And Ms. Purrington had been involved in the selection process for the current clerk recorder.
What else, Jeff?
Well, Stu, clearly you should have been the elected official for this position.
Well, that's not why I'm here, Jeff.
That's not why he's here. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, though. We keep Jeff on a short leash. 805-543-8830. Or here we go. We have been talking about Ashley Meester, candidate in the Lucimar School District. She joins us now. Ashley, good evening.
Hi.
Hi.
Ashley Meester.
Good evening, Miss Meester.
Hi.
Hi. So, how are you feeling 3 days later?
3 days later, I think I feel a little bit, I get new reasons for why this is such a big deal and so disappointing. I mean, to me, it really does have lasting effects for years to come if I don't get up on the board or if someone else gets on the board. Because the next time I can do this is in 4 years, and it takes time to have change, and it just delays everything.
Ashley, have you talked to anybody in the county clerk recorder's office?
Yes, we went there on Friday and, or was it Thursday? And Condo said that she was going to do a press release, and that press release was pretty disappointing because it didn't include the things that she said she would include. Such as she said she was going to be separating ballots through the 25th to ensure that voters get exposed to the new guide. She didn't announce that in the press release. She also said that she would include a link to the new voter information guide online, and she didn't do that. And I'm sorry, but the guides online are so confusing. I can't find my own piece in that. It's listed in a non-user friendly way, so it really didn't help, guide people who might be going out of town and need to send it now. It doesn't guide them to get informed. So,
Stu, any comments on this?
I think that demonstrates how things have changed and made it even more important that the mandatory duty to get out an accurate ballot statement and pamphlet, it's just more important than it is now. Back when I first came to the county in 1961, we had 2 daily papers. And, maybe an error like this could have been overcome by a clerk buying full-page ads in those papers to put out the ballot statements of the people that had been overlooked. If they did it immediately as soon as they discovered it.
Those days are gone.
Those days are gone.
Yeah.
Even if they did it immediately, I think at last report I may be wrong, but I think the Tribune maybe has 6,000 paid subscribers that get a paper in the county.
Ashley, what else do you want to say?
Well, I think I could just add to that part of the conversation. So when I was asking questions about how this was going to be fixed, she said that she'd do a press release, and I was like, what does that look like? And she described something other than what she did, but she said that she basically gives people she knows her statement, and then they do whatever they want with it. And I asked about social media. I'm like, majority of people get their information through social media. Are you going to post it on social media anywhere? She laughed at me and said, absolutely not, because that's way too hard to manage. And I'm like, so you really don't have any concern with connecting with your community and your constituents if you're not doing that at any point, not even just voting, but anything. You're not doing that. And that was really disheartening as well.
Yeah. Ashley, what's your website for your campaign?
Because I didn't do any fundraising and things like that, I just use Facebook, and you can find me on Ashley Smeester on Facebook.
Spell your last name, please.
S as in Sam, M as in Mark, E-E, S as in Sam, T as in Tom, E-R.
All right, Ashley Smeester, thank you for joining us. Good luck
calling.
on the campaign. Charlotte's in Arroyo Grande on KVEC. Hi, Charlotte.
Dave, this is the reason why we need you. Because this is the most publicity this is going to get. And this is such an important issue. We didn't see anything like this with Julie. This particular county clerk elected official should have done over the top, making sure that she performed above board on her very first elected voter situation, and she did not. And like Ashley said, she's really pretty much ghosted those people who have been affected by this.
Well, in fairness, but hang on, Charlotte, if I may, again, it's the Dave Congleton show. It's the idea, just to be fair to Ms. Cano, she did nail the recount on the Paulding-Compton vote. It came out 100% perfect.
I'm not disagreeing with that, Dave, but this is all about the people getting the appropriate information so they can make an informed decision. And the fact that these candidates have gone in that have been omitted and have been ghosted the way they have is very sad to me. Julie would never have done that. She has some very big feet to fill. She does.
Can I ask you a question?
There's no question about that.
You're saying being ghosted like that. What are you referring to? Dismissed is a word. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Like Ashley just said, they don't care. She doesn't care. One of the things that I would have done if I was in her shoes, I would have hit every single media outlet with who was admitted, what was admitted, and what I'm going to do to to make this a better fit. But she didn't do any of that.
She sent out a press release today.
Dave, how long ago was it? I got my ballot for like 4 days, 5 days.
I was trying to be fair
Okay.
here. Stu?
I'm just saying.
Is Charlotte being reasonable?
The last day for mailing the ballots out was the 10th of October, and you know they could have been mailed earlier. The proofing could have been done earlier. I do think the attitude is very important. The elections belong to the people. They don't belong to the elections official. And the attitude of welcoming in candidates, making sure that that voters are educated, that's all part of the job. And if there's an error, like leaving somebody's, like Mr. Krajewski's statement out, there's an affirmative duty to do everything possible to get that statement before the voters of Pismo Beach. And it's not just putting out a press release. Like I said, once upon a time, it would have been putting that statement out in a full-page ad with an apology for not having put it in the voter guide.
What else from you, Charlotte?
Just that I think it's time for the public to really see that they need to hold their officials accountable. This is a voted-in position, and the more people call in and let them know how displeased they are with what has not taken place that should have taken place, then perhaps maybe she will learn and actually earn the position we've given her.
I'm glad you called, Charlotte. Thank you. Is that a fair statement?
That's a fair statement. I think we should think the best of anyone and the potential for them to do better by responding in appropriate ways when they have people show them that they've done something wrong.
805-543-8830. 800-549-5832. For Stu Jenkins on the broadcast, responding to a press release sent out today by our county clerk recorder about recent inaccuracies in both the ballot statement and the actual ballot in one case. Sandra's with us on KVEC. Hi, Sandra.
Hi, Dave.
Hi.
Thank you for doing the show and bringing attention to this issue. This is really extremely important. As you know, I'm very upset about this. I've worked really hard at knocking on doors, making sure that the voters are fully informed. For me, it's all about fairness and, voters being fully informed, and that's not happened in this case. To top it off, Ms. Cano has been very dismissive. Basically, I sent her an email today asking her, when will these new guides be mailed? She couldn't even give me a date to do that. All she could tell me is that they're working on it, and they're going to be mailed. They're going to be sent to Goleta, and then from Goleta, they're going to be mailed to the voters.
Stu, was that a reasonable response?
No.
It's not a reasonable response.
Sandra, hang on, Sandra.
It's not a reasonable response because it comes too late. And it should have gone out the day after this problem was discovered. The fact that it's being sent to some printer someplace when there are assets at the county that could produce this and mail it out is just another example of what's wrong with the operation.
Sandra, what else?
So she responded. I responded to her via email, and I'm doing my communication via email. And I said that is unacceptable. And she said, I understand your frustrations. I'm sorry. We are working on it. That's all she could say. Not enough.
Sandra, thanks for checking in.
Thanks for calling.
Are we being unreasonable here? Some mistakes have been made.
It's not just that it's a mistake that's been made. Every part of our government depends on elections. Every part of our government,
right.
Whether it's the school board, whether it's a CSD, whether it's a city, whether it's the national government. And so this is the absolute most important task, is the ability to for the public to have a voice in their government through the voting process.
All right, we're in conversation with Attorney Stu Jenkins. We'll be back for a final segment on AM 920 FM 96.5 News Talk KVEC.